All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the Orbis Cascade Alliance Summer Meeting. I'm Dulcie Kirsting-Lark from the University of Idaho, and I'll be your host today. We're happy to have you here with us today. We've had some really great content. We're near the very end of our 3-day program. And in case you don't remember, or this is your first session that you're attending here, just a few logistics to keep in mind. You'll notice that you came in muted, and we'll ask that you remain muted during the presentation. If you do become unmuted, then we will have our Alliance staff host, Elizabeth, mute you. And if you have any problems, please send a private Zoom chat to Elizabeth. If you'd like to speak, just raise your hand on the Zoom menu. You can do that by locating the raise hand feature from the bottom Zoom menu and select the reactions raise hand feature. Feel free to post questions or comments in the chat as well. And for folks who have a question or a comment to share anonymously, you can use the Q&A option and select the send anonymously checkbox. We have live captioning service enabled. So to access that, locate the show captions in the bottom menu, select the button for captions, or select the caret to choose the full transcript view and adjust your caption settings. This session is being recorded and you will receive an email when it is available to view again. This is a short session, so I am really delighted to introduce the presenters. The title of this presentation is called Growing Collection Builder, Building Community and Collaborations with an Open Source Digital Exhibit Framework. And the presenters today are two of my very own colleagues, Julia Stone and Evan Williamson from the University of Idaho. So take it away, you two.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. So we're going to get started now. So first, we're going to introduce ourselves really briefly. My name is Julia Stone, and I'm a digital scholarship librarian at the University of Idaho, and also the community liaison for CollectionBuilder.
Hey, I'm Evan Williamson, digital infrastructure librarian at University of Idaho, and thanks for having us.
So first, we're going to briefly go over today's agenda. So Evan will begin by providing an introduction to CollectionBuilder, including how it works, and then I'll highlight some of the main benefits of CollectionBuilder. Then Evan will go over some examples of collaborative projects that we've done with CollectionBuilder. Finally, I'll go over some of our IMLS grant-funded initiatives, and then there will be a brief Q&A at the end where you're welcome to ask any questions that you might have.
All right, so what is CollectionBuilder? Well, it's an open source framework for creating digital collection and exhibit websites that are driven by metadata and powered by modern static web technology. And it's built right here at, well, I'm not here right now, but built at University of Idaho by librarians, and it's really for librarians. So, you are our target audience. And we're gonna go through pretty quick here. So next slide. And we created CollectionBuilder as a solution to the things that we really wanted to do here, mainly to teach with digital collections and to create unique digital scholarship projects at our Digital Humanities Lab, the Center for Digital Inquiry and Learning. And so it kind of comes out of our own context and our own work. CollectionBuilder uses a different approach than most digital exhibit platforms that are out there. It's informed by the concepts of minimal computing. So rather than using a content management system and a dynamic web application, instead it's based on plain text data and then uses a static site generator to pull it all together. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But the idea here is that we're really trying to minimize the digital infrastructure that we have to maintain in order to be able to maximize the time we get to spend building out really cool projects. So you're going to hear more about the kind of potential and benefits of this approach in a little bit, but I wanted to give a really quick intro to how it kind of works. Get the next. So CollectionBuilder project has three basic ingredients. You have some digital objects, and this could be just like a folder of files, PDFs and images and things like that, or it could be items that you've curated from an existing digital repository that you have out there. A metadata spreadsheet, so somewhere where you're describing your items and structured data, and then the CollectionBuilder template, which is the base code for creating the website. Next. And so you put all those ingredients together, and then we use the static site generator called Jekyll to knit it all together and output a complete static website. And so Jekyll is a piece of software that you could be running on your computer, or you could use it through some online services, and it converts your source code, that is your metadata and that template code, into the final exhibit website that your users will be able to browse and explore. And so the website can be hosted on free online platforms such as GitHub Pages or on any kind of basic web server that you have available. So there's a really simple kind of web server. You don't have to install anything on it. And so they're readily available and easy to maintain. The next. So once that site builds out, to really get an idea of what it looks like, it's best to just go click on all the examples. So I put the links to the slides in there, and the slides have a whole bunch of links embedded in it. So feel free to go and click on those because that's going to make the most sense. But your collection metadata is going to be driving the site. It creates all the pages and becomes interactive pathways for your users to browse. And so the metadata is getting digested up by that template and turned into these different interactive visualizations and representations. Like we have a filterable browse page, subject clouds, maps, timelines, and other features such as that. Next. It's also going to generate customizable item pages for every record in your collection. And it's going to display, the full description, full metadata, and all the download options or viewing depending on the type of object. Next. And under the hood, that metadata also is going to generate rich machine-readable markup so that your harvesters can make your collections more discoverable through search, and data exports so that your collection can become more reusable. Next. And then finally, we see context and interpretation as really essential to the work of creating collections. So the template provides you some tools to create rich narrative and interpretive pages that can pull your items directly into your storytelling and create some, really interactive pathways for your users to explore and discover your materials. And on to you, Julia.
All right, so next I'm going to dive into some of the major benefits of Collection Builder more broadly. So first of all, Collection Builder is inclusive and free to use. It has minimal IT infrastructure and less ongoing maintenance costs, which means that there are less financial barriers for building digital collections. And Collection Builder is also inclusive because it's designed for non-professional developers of all skill levels. And we have very robust documentation, so beginners can learn how to use Collection Builder right off the bat. In addition, Collection Builder websites support the open data movement, like Evan was saying. Website users can download collection data in a variety of formats and then reuse this data as they wish, which helps promote collaboration and knowledge sharing and the sharing of data. So Collection Builder is also an open source project, meaning anyone can use this template to create a project and customize it to their needs. Oops. And Collection Builder is also very customizable. There's a lot of customization options, both advanced and basic options for you. You can add interpretive pages and customize your metadata fields and decide which ones show up on those item pages. You can also configure your site settings like the timeline, map, and word clouds, and change the colors and font of your site. So you can customize your site's default language as well. And we're always happy to have folks reach out to us via email for advice on customizing their projects. And you'll hear more about some of these examples of customized websites when Evan talks about examples in just a moment. So when you use Collection Builder, you maintain full control and ownership over your content and your data. So this is a great benefit because you can create and manage your digital collections without relying on any third-party developers. And with Collection Builder, you're in charge then in all of the design decisions and the development decisions for your digital collections. Next, I'm going to talk about skill development. So unlike a lot of traditional content management systems, Collection Builder does not have a graphical user interface or a GUI. So this does lead to a bit of a learning curve, but because you are not using like icons, menus, buttons, and forms, and just like learning how to use a particular system, instead you're interacting directly with these data and configuration files. And so you get these transferable skills in metadata creation, data management, implementing data and file name standards, and then also some web development skills and writing and markdown. So you become more of an expert in these transferable web skills as opposed to just learning how to use a particular system. So once you get past that initial learning curve, it's really easy to repeat the steps and keep building new digital projects quickly and efficiently. And we always say that iteration is key, and the more collections that you create, the more you're going to get the hang of it. And the last benefit I'm going to talk about is sustainability. So CollectionBuilder allows for the creation of very sustainable projects. CollectionBuilder uses a static web approach, and compared to dynamic websites, which rely on a lot of like heavy server-side processing, static websites are fast and they're more sustainable. They have fewer security risks overall, and they also have minimal serving requirements, which means that less electricity is needed overall. And all CollectionBuilder projects are also migration and preservation ready, so they could be migrated to other platforms later on if needed. And there's also simple workflows and agile development that is possible with CollectionBuilder. And you can use CollectionBuilder to promote building skills within the organization, as opposed to relying on other developers outside the organization, so that you can sustain and support projects for the long term. All right, Evan, it's your turn.
All right. Yeah, and so I think our kind of trajectory has been building up skills internally that has really enabled a whole lot of unique collaborations in our own context. So to get more concrete, we were just going to provide a bunch of examples of actual projects where the kind of affordances of this approach and CollectionBuilder have enabled some really unique collaborations. And we've collaborated and helped out with people all over the world and in the Orbis Cascade Alliance, but I've narrowed this down to a few kind of like general examples that we've recently worked on. And then there's a whole bunch of links in the slide so you can click and explore a lot of different projects. So next one. So first, collaborating with faculty research. So because of the kind of potential for this agile and flexible prototyping and iterative development cycles, we've been able to create a lot of very highly customized digital scholarship projects in collaboration with faculty on campus. And these are often collections that are representing research materials. And so it makes a lot of that content available to others and really enriches the final published outputs with more access to the materials and to the research. And these collections have been also used as steps for getting further funding and support because they really effectively highlight the quality of the scholarship and the learning potential of these projects. Example that I have on the slide here, Black History at U of I. We had faculty and students doing archival research, curating items, and writing content in collaboration with folks in special collections and CDIL to be able to publish this very unique and underexamined history of our campus. And so there's a lot of other really good examples there that you can look at, and it's kind of step-by-step building up these collections and being able to put out more of the research process than just say an article at the end. Next slide. Similarly, we've also done a lot of work and opportunities with collaborating with graduate student research. And in this case, the students are able to work with their content and their research, understanding it through a kind of different lens that they hadn't been exposed to before, using data and the web. And then they're able to make their research more widely available as a digital publication. With Firelines, the example in here is an MFA writing student is able to publish her curated research and her writing that weaves together that essay and archival object. So it's an impactful opportunity where the research is usually locked away in your dissertation, doesn't get readers, and this is opening up in new ways and new audiences. So I'm going to go through these really quick now. Next. Collaborating in the classroom, the low overhead has allowed us to really create collections embedded directly in the classroom, and we have a lot of examples of that at University of Oregon with Kate Thornhill and some others, and we have a project called Learn Static where we've been working on creating templates that are reusable. Next. That kind of low maintenance investment has also allowed us to accept projects from the community that we wouldn't normally have been able to do, such as with really small historical societies that really opens up these local materials that were otherwise hidden away. And next. And finally, collaborating with librarians across the country. For a lot of librarians, working on CollectionBuilder projects is a really great way to learn some skills and build up some connections while you're still creating unique exhibits for the users. So in this example, we have Digital Library of Idaho. Librarians across the state kind of collaborated on putting this together and built out this collection of collections that highlights the digital libraries of the state. Next. So there's a lot more examples out there. We have a bunch on the website, and there's even a Zotero library that has just like tons of examples out there in the wild. So yeah, just go ahead and explore all of that to see some more options. And go ahead, Julia.
So I'm going to dive into our IMLS grant funded initiatives real quick. So the IMLS project grant, so the Collection Builder team was awarded an IMLS grant in 2022. And the main goals for this grant included hiring and training a new digital scholarship librarian who's devoted to growing and supporting the Collection Builder community. And that is my current role. And since beginning this role in January 2023, I've been trained heavily in using Collection Builder. And also I've provided training sessions for students, librarians, faculty, etc. The second main goal is to teach and promote Collection Builder at conferences and symposia. And we recently taught a week-long course on Collection Builder at the Digital Humanities Summer Institute this June. And we'll be teaching a workshop on Collection Builder at the Digital Library Federation's Learn at DLF event in November. We've also presented on Collection Builder at the University of Oregon, as well as at a meeting for the University of Washington's Digital Scholarship Collective. So that's something that we've also been working on for this grant. The third main goal is implementing some incentives programs, which I'll discuss on the next two slides. So as part of the curriculum development program, we have awarded $2,000 stipends to 3 library and information science instructors who are going to incorporate Collection Builder into their LIS courses. We also offered some $500 awards because we had a really strong pool of 20 applicants for the program. And as part of this program, the LIS instructors will receive support and training from our team, and they'll also provide feedback and produce an open educational resource or blog post about their experiences. And our 3 main awardees for this program are from North Carolina Central University, University of Arizona, and the University of Iowa. And you can learn more about the program at that link. And then in the fall of this year, we are going to be launching an LIS student program as well. So we're going to be awarding $400 stipends to 8 LIS students who are interested in creating a Collection Builder project and willing to document their experiences as well. So these awardees will prepare and publish one short video tutorial documenting a Collection Builder feature, or they will create a blog post highlighting their Collection Builder project. And they'll also submit feedback to us and attend a follow-up meeting. So finally, these are just some resources for you to browse through later, and they include our website, our documentation, and information about community involvement. So we do encourage you to reach out if you're interested in collaborating or learning how to use Collection Builder, and our emails are there on the last slide.